Hello there, hi, welcome back to the channel. It's me, it's Jim. We have things to discuss. Thank you so much, genuinely thank you for the response to my video yesterday. I'm seriously quite overwhelmed with the level of support and the outpouring of genuine support for what I do, for what we do, what we are doing here on the channel. I want to put your minds at rest initially, straight away. The identity, the character, the format of the channel isn't going to change significantly. It isn't going to change. I think I was being slightly naive and also being human. And I know you shouldn't do. You shouldn't compare yourselves to other people. Look around, but you know it's easy. The grass is greener over there. What are they doing? Why aren't I? What's happening to? Why isn't mine? Oh, it doesn't matter, Jim. Stay focused. Stay in your lane. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You love what you're doing. The audience loves what you're doing. Apparently. I mean, seriously so. I mean, I'm really, really taken aback by the impact of this little channel, little being the operative word, but what my little channel has on you and your day-to-day lives in ways that I didn't know. And just because you're not commenting on videos and just because you're not interacting all the time doesn't mean you're not watching and not there and not feeling like you're part of the community. Not quite since the beginning, but fairly soon after the channel started, it had a fairly clear identity, and that was of adventure and of going a different way, seeking out new things, finding unusual music. And I renamed the channel last year. Was it last year? I think it was. To Adventures in Music, because I think it was more descriptive of what the channel was doing, rather than it just being my name and being like a reaction channel, because I don't really ever want to be one of those big, shiny reaction channels. I want it to be genuine, and I want it to be about discovering music and listening to music and about a shared love of all sorts of music. My heart, in my heart of heart, and in the drive and the brain, what makes me go is sort of this stuff. It's listening to records. It will be listening to CDs. It will be doing seeking out the sort of things that other people are not listening to and giving them a chance, giving it a platform to exist on. But more than that, being selfish, giving me an opportunity to listen to it. And by default, an opportunity for you to listen to it as well. Is the channel going to change? Well, I think yes and no, but don't fear, because I think the changes that I want to bring about are not changes that you will dislike. I have read all of the comments. I've replied to most of them. There's a few that have come in this morning or overnight that I've not had a chance to get around to yet, but there have been a lot of comments, and there's a lot of ideas and development areas that have come in that have been really, really useful. So I think this whole thing that has happened, the making of the video yesterday, in retrospect, I think it's part of my process. I think it's how I needed to do that without, I didn't realize I needed to do it, but I needed to do it in order to sort of refocus what we are trying to do, what I'm trying to do, and to give a bit more direction to the channel, because it's not getting stale, but it's kind of just, it is sort of ticking along, doing its own thing, but without really doing anything sort of substantially new. Now, that could be okay. I could keep doing that, but I think I would be at risk at some point of getting quite bored of it. Not of the music, but just of this, of making the same video over and over and over. It's like Groundhog Day. It's just the soundtrack is changing. So I think for my own sanity, and also I think for the health of the channel, I think I need to freshen things up a little bit. Now, don't worry, because the backbone, the mainstay of what this channel is about listening to albums, and I don't think that's going to change. Not really. There are going to be some embellishments to that listen, but how it's going to be is probably going to remain fairly familiar to you, but with some changes. A bit of a oxymoron there, isn't it? But it's there are several comments and also a conversation that I had yesterday with Rudy, actually, about something that I think could work quite nicely. So, one thing, there's quite a lot of, obviously the albums that we listen to, there's a lot of very obscure and unknown bands or little known bands. I thought rather than just dedicating an entire week, 3 days to doing that, what I might try to do is like an album focus or an album spotlight for one day. So for example, this is Tides from Nebula. It's a Polish post-rock. It's fabulous, but I don't think a lot of people would like to listen to the whole album. But people might invest the time to listen to one track. So what I would suggest is that potentially once a week I do an album spotlight of something I know that I don't think that you do, or not a lot of people know, and do a particular track from that, talk about the album a little bit, and then move on. We'll do something else for the rest of the week. And then repeat that for 3 or 4 weeks until we've got to the end of the month. And then we do an album of the month. And the album of the month will be culled from the plays that we've done over the course of the previous month. So the one that we then look at on a final play will be the full album, but that will be voted on by you. So whichever one of these albums really tickles your fancy is the one that we end up listening to at the end of the month in full. I also think that there's some mileage in doing a shared screen. So we have me down here, then 3 other people, and I think they are you from the community. Via Zoom, we do a 4 people on the screen listen to an album in full. And I propose that one of those positions, one of those 3, up there, who knows where it is, doesn't matter, is free to anybody within the community, but as a competition win. And we can do this once a month. The other 2 places, I think, will be paid for via Buy Me a Coffee as, I don't know, what, 20 quid each or something like that, 15, 20 quid. I haven't, it's sort of like, it's not coalescing yet. It's all sort of churning around here, these ideas. But that's something I think that would be quite fun to do. So that would be a group reaction type thing. And I think that'd be really, really nice. And especially if that is from one of the people is championing the album. In fact, what we could do is people suggest an album and the maximum number of people who back it is the votes for that album. I haven't quite worked out how this is. And that's the person who gets the free pass, as it were. So you've got to come up with a great idea, and that will then get you a pass onto the video. I think there's also some mileage in doing themes. so like a themed Thursday. A little bit like the mixtape, but for maybe slightly shorter, so 20-25 minutes of music from a mixture of, say, a minimum of five tracks, 5 different bands, so no repeats, and there's got to be a link in there somehow. And you've got to come up with the idea as well. You've got to come up with, or maybe I will, I don't know, but there's got to be themes in there. So it could be cars, it could be travel, it could be countries, it could be, any subject in the entire world, as long as the songs are related or the songs link to one another. That could be a thing. That'd be fun. There has been a suggestion that perhaps my feelers, my tentacles have gone too wide and we're listening to far too many different sort of genres of music. Well, be that as it may, I don't think we are. I love listening to all the different sorts of music that we have on the channel. And that is purely down to me. That's my personality. And I suspect, as has been pointed out, that I have lost audience because of that. Well, at the end of the day, I don't care. Do I need to grow massively? No, I don't. I think we need to focus on what we're doing and enjoy what we're doing. And I know that I am, and I know that you are. So the audience that is here, you're still catered for. We're not, I keep saying we, me. I'm not changing anything like that. So it's going to carry on being what we've been doing. So that might mean that one week we've got progressive rock and extreme metal. The next week we might have some new wave and post-punk and maybe some hip-hop. Or we might have some acid jazz, or we might have jazz fusion, or we might even have some electronica. All these ideas are churning around and may well land. I just don't know where yet. So there are changes coming, but I think they're going to be positive ones. I think they're going to be useful ones. I think they're going to be more about just keeping things fresh and interesting. I'm still going to do interviews as and when I get an opportunity to do them, because they're nice to do. There's a lot of work goes into them, and it takes up a lot of time, but it's fun, it's rewarding. I get pleasure out of it. There's another sort of aspect of the channel, which is something I also really want to carry on doing, is actually to continue to listen to some of these really huge, stellar albums. The heavy hitters, the blockbusters, if you will, the Iron Maidens, the Rush, the Yes, the Pink Floyd, stuff that I actually want to listen to, and have a session where I just listen to it. Well, why not? I'm going to continue doing those, and there will be a part of the audience that wants to do that, and a part of the audience that doesn't want to do that. It's okay. And that's what I just need to learn. It's okay, Jim. It really doesn't matter. I'm not trying to achieve anything other than just enjoy what I do in the little bit of time that I have to do it each day. And for anyone out there who is watching it to enjoy it as well. I want the content to be engaging and compelling and interesting and valuable and worthwhile. And the only real way to be able to do that is to continue doing what I've been doing all along. Just being me, just listening to the music, being genuine. So if it's okay with you and you're happy about it, I think that's what I intend to do.